This is Hillary Kramer, the Millionaire Maker, and I asked a very special man, Mark Lawson. He is the CEO and founder of Veritransfer, a new company that everyone should know about that's filling a massive void that is in this country. And Mark, you are brilliant. What you have done is you've taken technology, digital platform, cloud-based software, all of that concept, and you've applied it to the gun industry. So I can't wait to hear from you about some of the issues that gun owners have. Can you tell us about the genesis of Veritransfer and and why it's such an important application software digitization that every gun owner should have?
Well, thank you again for having me on today, Hillary. I think I'm very excited to participate in the show and tell everyone, a lot more about what we're doing at Veritransfer, which we think is addressing a very important issue in society and duly presents, I think, a unique opportunity for investors to participate in the upside of addressing this problem. So I think we took a look a few years ago at the 51 billion firearms industry, and look, we saw a few things. The headline that we saw is really there were very outdated processes for gun owners. Everything around owning a gun was really paper based. We hadn't really seen any existing technology solution to make the process more efficient and foster a safer gun culture and community. And the other issue was that gun laws really vary state to state. So if you purchase a firearm in California and you drove it across state lines to, say, Nevada, are you violating federal laws? You likely are. So we didn't really see a seamless kind of compliance-based best practices platform. And the other part was as the market continued to grow, so did the size of the private market, in which it's estimated that close to 25% of all gun sales are via the private market. So people that are prohibited from purchasing a gun are going to the private market, and that is creating unknown risk for buyers and sellers. So we
Mhm.
really, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we're talking about a massive market, right? We're talking about 393 million guns that are owned in this country. We're talking 8.4 million guns that were purchased in 2020. And let me just say, 40% of those were purchased by women. So we're not talking niche players. No way. We're not talking niche, and we're not talking like you're going up against, a big player who's in the industry. There is literally a void here. I mean, if look, the medical health world, everyone has an app these days, depending on what hospital they use or hospital system. Everyone has an app, and on that app, you have everything from all your test results to what doctor's appointments you've had, you will have, messages, everything is right there. And and that's in every industry today. And some of these software companies have just taken off. I mean, they might help the pet industry and they take off. What we're talking about, when you're talking 393 million guns out there, okay, and what are these major problems? These are real life problems. So theft, every 2 minutes a gun is stolen in this country. Registering your gun, where do you register? How do you register? What is needed when you register? You're talking about an application that a person can actually do from home. Then, of course, there's all the rules, and as you said, the keyword compliance around owning a gun. If you want to sell that gun, can you talk to us about what happens when you sell a gun in the world of liability and how your application helps that in the gun market?
That is a very important point, Hillary. So it is estimated at this point that close to 25% of all gun sales are private. So the issue is if you went to a Starbucks parking lot and you sold a gun to your friend, if for some reason that firearm ended up at a crime scene, when the ATF ran a trace on that gun, it is possible that you could be charged with a crime. So what we're doing is we're issuing what's called digital certificates that prove that you are no longer the owner of that firearm. And this really just protects the responsible gun owner from any of these issues that may arise in the future. Because the real issue is as the market continues to explode, this year there were a record, probably close to 22 million background checks conducted with 8.4 million new gun owners. Ammunition can't even stay on the shelf. People that have been prohibited from purchasing a gun are going to the illicit market. So we think the ability to store records of these sales to protect you are very important. But we're really creating a firearms lifestyle platform, which is a convergence of everything around you as a responsible gun owner, from safety and training, apparel, courses, all stored in one central secure location. We think that's very important. One thing you touched on was the size of this market, the total addressable market. It's very large. It's 51 billion right now and growing. When you look at the recreational firearm spending, and most people would be surprised to know that the two highest growth segments of the consumer firearms market are actually millennials and women. Why? Because they're tech savvy, they care about community, they care about safety, and they have ubiquitous devices in their hands at all time. So to your point, if you look at where the healthcare industry has gone, is if you're going to manage if you're going to use technology to manage all aspects of your life, we feel that you should also be doing it for something that you care so deeply and viscerally about, and it's a big part of our thesis and what the opportunity is for Veritransfer.
Oh, I have so many more questions, but I think the two most important ones at this moment, twofold. Number one, I want to hear about your background and how you got to this point, Mark, of of being the founder of a company that's a digital platform for every aspect of an individual's gun ownership. And number two, I think I want to know, how do I go about investing? I'm an individual investor. You're not a public company yet. If I want to invest or look at your materials and make a decision, what do I do? Those are the two questions for our last 2 minutes.
Sure. I'll start with the first one. So my background is primarily investment banking. I spent about 4 years with Morgan Stanley in New York, working in M&A in the technology and healthcare sectors. And for me, at this juncture in my career, I'm very, very passionate about meshing profit with purpose. And so the genesis of Veritransfer was seeing an explosion of gun violence about 2 years ago, both in Canada and the US, and really myself and my team seeing an opportunity to leverage emerging technologies to really improve the process about who should be able to um, own firearms. I think the second part of that question is we are currently conducting a Regulation A plus financing with the SEC, and this allows smaller investors to participate in what's effectively crowdfunding of private business. This was created through the Jobs Act. If anyone wants to participate in our current round and become a shareholder, they can go to theguninvestor.com. We are currently raising $10 million, which will take us right through to becoming free cash flow positive and profitable. And we'd love for you to join us on our journey and our mission.
Have you gotten all the technology together for each state? Every state's different. You have all of that in place, and have you actually launched the site itself? I've gone through all the materials, but is it a launched live site?
Well, it's a combination of a platform and also a downloadable app. So the platform will be ready in the next month, and we do expect to launch the app in the next quarter. But all of the technology solution has primarily been built out, and we're very excited about the future. I think the last thing that I'll say is we think the timing is right. The change of the administration, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, we're not taking a side. This is a market-driven solution, and I think whether you like it or not, I think everyone knows that universal background checks are coming, and we haven't really seen a technology solution that is available
Right.
to be able to
And
enact some of the changes.
gun ownership is everyone's right. This is Hillary Kramer, the millionaire maker.